Over hills he goes, steaming all the way. Trees that disappear, and turkeys taking flight. Oh, what fun it is to wreck a Whoville Christmas night. Hey, see him dance, see him fly, see him stuff his face. When he's through, the gifts they've got will be gone without a trace.
Jim Carrey. The Grinch. Rated PG. Now playing.
Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another movie review. And this review is going to be on How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000, starring Jim Carrey and also Taylor Momsen. You also have Jeffrey Tambor, Christine Baranski, Bill Irwin, Molly Shannon, and Anthony Hopkins. Now, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I remember when this film came out in 2000, and I remember the hype for this film. They were advertising this film like crazy and promoting it. I remember Toys R Us did a advertisement for the film where he had the Grinch run into the store and just, taking some stuff off the shelves. It was part of like a contest that they were doing, I remember. There was also, from what I remember, Eggo waffles that they released with the Grinch in the center of the waffle. They also released a Rice Krispies cereal with the Grinch colors, in it, which that also I remember. And pretty much there was basically a toy line that I remember Playmates released, which featured the Grinch. But I remember the hype for the film. It was huge, and I didn't see this film in the theater when it was released. I saw it a year later when it came out to DVD and VHS because my uncle had the DVD of it. He had this version of the DVD, which has the green casing on it, which I have as well. I really like how the way they released the film in a green casing. So this was the DVD of it, even though it's the full screen version. But still, we'll keep it because of the green casing. I think this casing of the film, or this version of the film with the green casing, is very rare to find. So glad I kept the DVD of this, because like I said, I like the green casing to it. But when I saw it as a kid, when it came out on DVD and VHS the following year in 2001, I remember really enjoying it. Like I said, I was at my aunt and uncle's house. He had it on DVD, and I was over there one weekend, and he decided to put it on, and I enjoyed it. I had fun with it, and I haven't seen the film in that long of time, in over 20 years. But I watched it again. I did not watch the 4K of this because my local Alamo Draft House today had a screening of the film, so I saw it on the big screen, and the film looked good on the big screen. The whole look of Whoville, I thought was pretty cool. And, rewatching the film all these years later, I think the film still holds up. I really enjoyed the film and had a lot of fun with it. Jim Carrey as the Grinch, it was a good choice for them to have Jim Carrey play the Grinch for the film. I couldn't see anybody else playing the Grinch besides Jim Carrey. I know they wanted to get Jack Nicholson. They wanted Jack Nicholson or Eddie Murphy or Adam Sandler were considered to play the Grinch, but they wouldn't have been as good as Jim Carrey. And just Jim Carrey, you see him having fun with the Grinch character. He basically brought the character to life. And, it's Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, his goofiness, his silly, over-the-topness. And the film was directed by Ron Howard. Of course, he played Richie Cunningham on the classic TV series Happy Days. He also directed Splash. He also directed Ransom, with Mel Gibson, which I really enjoy. He directed a lot of films. He's a pretty decent director. And he also, directed Cocoon, which I really enjoy. So he's directed a lot of, decent, good films. And I know when the film came out, the critics were mixed on it. And I know this film is divided with some people. Some people love the film. Some people hate it. I'm in the majority of people that really like the film and love it. Yes, the film has problems, does. But still, it's a very fun Christmas film to watch during the holiday season. And of course, the film is not as good as the classic cartoon. But like I said, it's still a lot of fun. But basically, what the film is about is we all know the story of the Grinch. Of course, wrote by Dr. Seuss. And it's pretty much, the Grinch played by Jim Carrey. And we all know about the Grinch. He's a grumpy, green recluse who lives on Mount Crumpit, above Whoville. And the Grinch despises Christmas, and he despises the residents of Whoville, who are known as the Whos. And so the Grinch sets out to sabotage, the residents of Whoville, and pretty much basically, sabotage their holiday celebration and to sabotage Christmas. So Cindy Lou Who was played by Taylor Momsen in her feature film debut here, she is 6 years old, and she, visits the Grinch while he is in her father's post office because he ends up hiding. So that's when Taylor Momsen's character, Cindy Lou Who, meets the Grinch, and pretty much basically she just wants to get the Grinch, to love Christmas and not make him hate Christmas anymore. But basically that's what the plot to the film is about. But you do have the backstory of why the Grinch hated Christmas, because Cindy Lou Who, Taylor Momsen's character, ends up want to figure out why the Grinch hates Christmas. So she goes and visits these elderly sisters who basically adopted the Grinch, and we find out that he was abandoned as a baby. And a lot of people say that the look of the baby Grinch is kind of creepy looking. I don't think so. I think, the look of the baby Grinch, is very cute. I've seen a lot of creepiness looks in some films of, other characters. But we see, how when the Grinch is a child and he's in school, he has a crush on Martha May Hoover, who was played by Christine Baranski. And the mayor, as a kid, the mayor is played by Jeffrey Tambor. Him as a kid, he basically makes fun of the Grinch, and he likes Martha, but Martha really likes the Grinch. And so basically the Grinch ends up hating Christmas because the students end up ridiculing him during a Christmas celebration because he tried to shave his face, and he ended up cutting himself. So he ended up getting pissed off, and he throws the tree, and that's when he goes to Mount Crumpit, vowing never to return to Whoville. And so that was, pretty much basically the backstory of how the Grinch, hated Christmas, which I didn't mind the backstory. I thought that, the backstory was, okay, because they didn't explain the backstory in the classic cartoon. But I thought they did it fine here, the backstory of the Grinch. And Jim Carrey, he just bought it all out for the Grinch here. I know he hated doing the film because the makeup process. Jim Carrey stated this when he did the makeup for the Grinch. It took up to 2.5 hours each day, and he said that wearing the costume, he felt like he was being buried alive, and because he was so frustrated at being in that costume, he ended up saying that he kicked a hole in the wall of his trailer. But the makeup was done by the great Rick Baker. Really enjoy Rick Baker's makeup in the films that he applies makeup to. Mostly all of Eddie Murphy's films, Rick Baker has done the makeup for him. So Jim Carrey revealed on the Graham Norton show, and I watched this interview with him when he was talking about this. And like I said, Jim Carrey ended up saying that it took about 2 hours to apply that makeup on him. And it also took an hour to remove that makeup off of him. And Jim Carrey ended up saying that he felt so confined and uncomfortable in that the producer, Brian Grazer, ended up bringing in a CIA agent who taught Jim Carrey these torture-resistant techniques, with the makeup that's being applied to him and him feeling tortured. A CIA agent ended up consulting him in methods to enduring the torture. But God bless Jim Carrey for going through that to give us a good performance. And even Jim Carrey was like, oh, it's for the kids. It's for the kids in that interview. I'm doing it for the kids. So even Ron Howard ended up dressing up in the Grinch costume to, please Jim Carrey. So it said, according to Wikipedia, over the course of filming, Jim Carrey spent 92 days in the Grinch makeup and eventually became more comfortable with the process. Most of the makeup appliances used for the actors were connected to their upper lips, along with prosthetic noses, ears, dentures, and wigs. So this is how, the Who's looked, in Whoville. They had their prosthetic noses, their ears. So yeah, to keep Jim Carrey's spirits up during production, Ron Howard once donned a Grinch suit himself. And on another occasion, he invited Don Knotts, the late great Don Knotts, to the set because Jim Carrey was a fan of Don Knotts. And Jim Carrey, for the Grinch's eyes, he had to wear these uncomfortable yellow contact lenses. And most of the scenes that required post-production digital alterations were made to the color of Jim Carrey's eyes because of the discomfort of them. But there is, some scenes where Jim Carrey as the Grinch is breaking the fourth wall. In some scenes where, during that one scene where he's directing Max, the dog, he improvised by mimicking Ron Howard's directing style, where he was like, "Oh, cut, print, there you go," which Ron Howard ended up keeping in the film because he thought the impression was hilarious, which it actually was. So, but really like the look of Whoville, very creative, and I know some people have a problem with how the film looks because some people say the film looks all like murky, but that is pretty much how I guess Ron Howard wanted the film to look, like a very like fantasy-ish type of look to the film. I really like the soundtrack to the film as well. I like Where Are You Christmas, that was sung by Faith Hill. It's a good song, which the song was also sung by Taylor Momsen's character Cindy Lou Who in the film as well. But I thought Bill Irwin as Lulu Who is Cindy Lou Who's father. I thought he did a good job. His character works at the post office. He was also the guy that was on Sesame Street in the Elmo's World segments where he ended up playing Mr. Noodle. Yeah, I did not even know that. That Mr. Noodle played Lulu in The Grinch. You also have Molly Shannon, who plays Cindy Lou Who's mother. So it's good to see Molly Shannon there. Anthony Hopkins was the narrator of the film. And here's a little trivia for you. Anthony Hopkins recorded the entire narration for the film in one single day. Props to Anthony Hopkins for just doing that whole entire narration for just one day. And you also have Jeffrey Tambor as the mayor, who is a very rude and greedy mayor of Whoville. And he also bullied the Grinch. And, you get to really sort of hate his character here because of him, bullying the Grinch and him being judgmental of, Whoville. So, but he did a good job, Jeffrey Tambor. Christine Baranski, who played Martha May, thought she did, pretty good as well. And, we see her as, the Grinch's childhood crush. And the mayor, Jeffrey Tambor, really likes her. But, what we see in the end, spoilers if you haven't seen it, she, goes to the Grinch and, really likes him. And Taylor Momsen, in her motion picture debut here, Cindy Lou Who, she did an absolutely fantastic job. Just a very cute, likable character kid. And she has retired from acting. And she is now in the rock band called The Pretty Reckless. So, good on her. She went from a former child actress to a singer in a band. But overall, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, fun film. It's very enjoyable. Yes, it does have its problems, but still, it's worth checking out if you all haven't seen it. And Jim Carrey does a fantastic job, as the Grinch. But when the film came out, it was a big hit at the box office. And it had a budget of $123 million, and it made $346 million worldwide. It spent 4 weeks as the top film in the U.S. It became the highest grossing film of 2000 domestically and the sixth highest grossing film of 2000. And it became the second highest grossing holiday film of all time, behind Home Alone, until it was surpassed by the 2018 film adaptation, the animated version of The Grinch, which starred Benedict Cumberbatch, which I haven't seen, but I've heard good things about it. And the film also won an Oscar for Best Makeup and Hairstyling, which it really deserved. Really deserved the win. But, yeah, overall, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, definitely give it a watch. It's a fun film, and, it's definitely worth watching during the holidays. But anyway, that's it for my review of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoy this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later tonight with the Survivor Series War Games review. So see you all later tonight for that.